From the window to the walls, to the sweat drop down my balls. All these bitches go. Oh, ski, motherfucker. Testing.
Wow.
1, 2, 3. Testing, you and me. Like testing.
Like on like one episode of like Barney.
Testing, AOC. Testing, listen to me.
Welcome back to another podcast where two girls come together to talk about things that people should take the time to ponder.
We call this the art of conversation.
She said that with such demise. Is that the good word?
Define demise.
I don't know what it means.
Exactly.
What does it mean?
It did sound right, but I don't know.
I'm bad with definitions.
I feel like it's like in a book. This bitch is already on Google. Like, I literally can't.
Demise. You're down. It's like a downfall.
Yeah, like I'm falling to my demise.
I demise you. Yeah, like
Into the mic, like.
convey or a person's death.
What? No way.
It
What?
says a person's death.
Leading. Like it's the downfall as the death.
So I was right.
The death of our podcast.
What did I just say again?
I
I
have
said
no clue.
the podcast would demise.
Oh yeah, because she said it with such like demise. Like you.
So we're just gonna continue to use the word like
You
it's right.
sounded dead.
Okay, let's do.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Guys, this is behind the scenes of set today. We keep trash on the floor.
We are showing them.
I'm going through like a purge.
I need everyone to know also that these ceilings are super low. Like, I am not
A giant.
So I think with these ceilings and seeing Alyssa's height and not knowing that she's shorter, like, I could potentially look 10 feet tall.
I can touch the ceiling.
Ow. Ow.
Why do you need to call them?
They called me today.
Why?
I don't know. Why? I feel so vulnerable. Why is this like
Glowing.
glowing?
I mean, you don't really, like, share detail.
They say you're lonely. I don't even have a drink. I just want that top left one. Like OCD to take this off before I sip it.
Why does your pillow wear a hair clip?
It's my hair clip
Okay.
that I put on the pillow.
Alright, guys, so we're back and we're better.
Jocelyn, how are you feeling now that you're off your period? I'm just kidding.
I'm 2 days off my pee.
So how are you feeling?
I feel like my
How are you
emotions are back
feeling?
regular.
Okay, Jocelyn, so tell everybody what our topic for today is going to be.
Our topic for today is all about the relationships in your life, specifically some toxic ones. And relationships aren't just man's, they're also women's and fams.
And animals.
And animals.
Oh no,
and
Jocelyn is just saying that we are going to talk about and discuss toxic relationships and how they have, I guess, affected
life.
and how maybe, I don't know, now you live your life differently because of things you've encountered.
Yeah, we can get deep. I think in
Do you
lieu
wanna
of
get
not
deep?
using the bowl last time, we're going to let the bowl run us this time.
Okay.
Unless you give like a beginning starting story.
I'd rather not right now.
I know, I feel like the bowl has to get us into it. It's just how I'm feeling. Wow, your hair's like flowing.
Flowing where?
I don't know, do you have it like slightly curled?
No, this is natural, baby.
Oh, looks like you just like did something.
I had it in a hair clip for 3 hours on my way home from the beach.
Okay.
Okay.
Rage.
You want me to pick, yeah, Jocelyn has rage some more. Do you want me to pick one
Fat
first, or
ass
do you
one.
want to?
Okay.
Still no popcorn. This is getting ridiculous. Okay.
Read it out loud.
This is such a big question. This is like 2 sentences. What if you just broke it and I wouldn't even
Wait, can I
gotten
try
a
it?
chance? Can I read it first and then we can karate chop?
Kung Fu fighting.
Shame and guilt are common in toxic relationships. Have you ever blamed yourself for your partner's behavior? Why or why not?
Yeah. Have
Okay.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toxic. Okay, so explain.
Can you read it one more time?
Shame and guilt.
Oh, sorry. Just
Fucking
It's like
rage so
Taekwondo.
much. I have to like do things over here.
shame and fucking guilt.
Are common in toxic relationships. Have you ever blamed yourself for your partner's behavior? Why or why not?
Yeah. Why do I have to answer first.
Because then I'll feel more comfortable.
I feel like I had an experience in a relationship where I was cheated on. And throughout that experience... Why am I talking like this?
I don't know. I'm not trying to laugh either because I feel like I shouldn't laugh.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm like... My head is not where the like... I'll be serious, bitch.
It always takes us like 10 minutes to really get
in.
into it. So like, is there a way that you can just like not make it look like we're so
Idiotic
in the beginning?
It's like, you know how Sharpay did this, like...
Yes, I remember.
We need to do that a few times. And then okay.
It's so tiny.
Snap into it. So, I feel as though I had a long relationship and... I had a long relationship. And like...
It was very toxic.
It got to be and toxic with the taste of your lips. I'm on a ride.
Britney Spears isn't even like.
Yeah,
is she even? Is Britney Spears alive?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, people don't know if that's really Brit.
It's Brit. She's just ignorant.
Okay.
Okay. No. So I had a relationship. Started off great, and I feel like a lot of times when you start dating someone when you're in your teens and then you go throughout your 20s with them, you grow apart and a lot of things occur. But I remember 2 specific times I feel like I blamed myself. One, I went long distance because I went to college. I just remember, like, this is kind of hard because, yeah, how do you, like, share things without just, like, outing people?
Like, how do people have podcasts and just, like...
They just don't care. You full send
care.
it.
They literally just don't care.
I mean, I think I don't care.
I think I don't care, too. I just have to get into that.
I just don't know, like... Yeah, well, I need a drink.
Okay. Anyway, I remember when I went to college, you know, they say don't be in a relationship when you're in college, and I did that anyway, but throughout that period of time, my freshman year was actually living hell. Not just for that reason, many reasons, but I do remember specifically being like, because I was dating an older guy, and he was, you know, out all the time doing his thing back in a place. He had all his friends, and I'm in this new place, didn't really have any friends. And throughout that period, he was a little sketch or did some unloyal things and whatnot. And I literally remember, it was the weirdest thing because I've always been a confident person, but that's the first time I started thinking every single day that, like, it was almost like I wasn't making it his fault that he was doing something. It was, like, my fault. Like, oh my God, what if I'm not as pretty as them or as cool as them? Or, like, what if I'm this or that? And almost made it be like I was not enough of something, and that is the reason why he was doing these things. Which is, like, definitely the wrong mindset. But, I don't know, this is actually kind of embarrassing. But if I'm thinking about it, I had an Instagram account. This is so embarrassing. I was 17. I had an Instagram account, like 5,000 followers, whatever. Posted my little bikini pictures. That was me throughout high school. And I remember when I went to High Point University freshman year, I went through this whole, like, purge of life. And I went to the mental hospital and all of that stuff. And I was like, I don't want all these random people following me on Instagram. So I deleted my account and I created a new account. So now I had an account with, like, 200 followers. And it was just so superficial at that time. And I remember being like, literally asking the boyfriend at the time. It was so embarrassing. But I remember just being like, I literally think I asked him, like, would you, like, be with another girl? Because, like, I just don't look cool. Like, I don't have, like, I have 200 followers and, like, no cool pictures. And I don't post like that anymore.
Oh, because of social media?
That wasn't the only thing, but I specifically remember that because I look back at that now and I'm like, there's no way.
What are you saying? Are you saying you feel embarrassed that was, like, your standard at
I'm
that
just
moment?
saying he did things that weren't related to me, and then I was also going through some awakening or some hard, troubling times, and through that, I believe that because I was, like, not as confident or not as keeping myself together as I was before, that was the reason that he was doing those things. Now, circle back to...
Do you think that, like, when you are in a toxic relationship, the person that's toxic knows that they're being toxic?
No.
No.
100% not.
Like, do you think that in their head they think that...
Throughout this time, I remember, and this is, like, college, but I remember he literally made me feel, like, he would be, like, as if, like, I'm crazy for worrying about what he's doing or being, like, why are you sleeping at other girls' houses, like, drunk every night? But... stayed with him because that's what one does, and then circling back,
what one Jocelyn does.
And things got a little better, but then my father had died, went through another obvious low, couldn't even brush my hair, whatever. It was almost like the same situation times
really,
10.
You have to do that after I, like, that one question I asked you about you not brushing your hair.
Bitch.
Now you're gonna
now she's gonna feel like she's a bitch for asking.
And so the guilt continues.
No, it's always been that way, guys. Don't worry.
It's true. I used to find it all over
What
my
is
bed.
the thing you always use when you talk to me about, like, that stage? I couldn't even brush my hair.
I literally couldn't.
Brush my hair. I couldn't even.
I didn't brush my hair.
Like,
the only thing I did was brush my teeth. Now, I'm not gonna keep that in because I don't want people to think I'm like West Virginian. But yeah,
We're not keeping that.
Your skin looks good.
I know. I'm finally getting my sparkle back. Anyway, same situation times 10. So here's the lesson though. If the universe shows you a situation and you don't respond correctly, they're going to show it to you again.
And again.
So what happened was almost the same situation. So lose my dad. I'm clearly at an all-time low. I thought I was a low freshman year of college, bitch. I was at a low. Again, wasn't brushing hair, writing in the morning. What?
Depression.
I was just depressed. And because of that, I'm not as confident. I'm not as, in my relationship as prior. And I put a lot of weight on that person because they were kind of the person I felt like was the stable person. And within a month after losing my dad, like, full on cheated, like, sexually, which wasn't what was happening in college. And it was the same exact situation. And I blamed myself again because I felt like that happened because, I wasn't giving enough or wasn't as pretty or whatever, wasn't keeping myself together. So it was every time I was in the lowest points of my life that happened, but I blamed myself for it. Which, based on the track record, it seemed to be true, though. Because every time I was at my lowest point is when the shit would happen to me. When I was confident on my shit, no one was fucking with me. I was being treated like a queen.
Yeah.
But the right person's not going to do that. And I think the universe was teaching me a lesson.
Yeah, I feel like throughout my whole, like, toxic relationship, I feel like I was shown, like, over and over and over and over again. I feel like once I got over whatever hump it was that, like, almost, like, broke us up or whatever it was, then I'd be like, oh, everything's finally fine. Yeah. And then suddenly it would, like, start just, like, building up again, and it would just fizz over.
Did you have that experience where...
I think it's just better if Jocelyn asks me the questions.
Yeah. Did you have that experience where it was, like, let's say something really bad happened, it was super toxic, and then you, like, work through that, and then it's almost like you're on a high after that? Because you've worked through that?
What is that called?
So now you're, like, you feel like you're happier than you were before the toxic
It's like a cycle because you go through, like, that honeymoon phase.
Yeah. She was so bad.
After you, like, get back together because you think that, like, yeah.
No, we're better now.
It's honestly almost ridiculous because I feel like well, it's not, because I don't want anybody that is watching this that could be in a toxic relationship or trying to get out of one to think that, because I feel like when you're in it, everything feels so different. But when you finally get out of it, I feel like you realize how...
Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying. Crazy. Or how like straightforward it was in front of you and you still chose the wrong path.
It's almost like you just tried your best to, like, not look at the obvious.
And that's why the people around you are probably, like, saying things that are so obvious to you and you're just like, you don't want to hear it.
I feel like toxic relationships, as bad as they are or could get, I think at the end of the day, I mean, nobody deserves to go through X, Y, and Z, but I feel like you learn so much about yourself.
Well, I think relationships are the way in our lifetime that we level up and learn the most about ourselves. I think that's why that's why it's not just like, oh, you have a relationship and get married. No. I think each relationship you learn things about yourself you didn't know before. It's your biggest learning lessons, truthfully, because you're coming together with a completely
Not everybody overcomes, being in a toxic relationship. No. And some, I don't know, I feel like toxic is, like, hard because, some people are like, oh, well, we got over our toxic, like, part and now we're healthy.
Okay, but like, the amount of people that had some shit like that happen and then they end up good is, like, let's say 1 out of 100, and then all the other 99 people use that one stable relationship to be like, we'll be fine. No. 99% of the time you're not. Get the fuck out of it. Yeah. Learn the lesson. If you learn to learn the lesson the first time the universe gives it to you, do you know how much more you would elevate in life and just get to the
It's so funny we're kind of talking about this because when my dad watches this, I feel like he'll be happy that I remember this from our conversation today. But he was telling me how, like, I can't really get too deep, but he was telling me about this one story, basically, like, this guy that, like, I don't know, it was like he was stranded in the water and there was, like, this house and, he was stuck on the roof or whatever and he was just praying to God, like,
it's a real story?
We're going to use this as, like, a cover-up of what it could be, let's say, right? And he was, like, waiting for, like, something to come save him. And he's like, well, God will save me. Well, God will save me. And then, like, a boat came by and the guy was like, you need help? And he's like, no, like, God will save me. And then, like, that went on. And then, like, I want to say maybe, like, a ship, he said, came and he still passed. And then a helicopter came and he passed. And eventually, he died and he got to the other side. And he was just like, dude, like, what the heck? Like, I thought you were going to come save me. And, then God was kind of like, oh, like...
He sent those people,
those people to help you. But I feel like... I'm just using this as a scenario. I don't really like to talk about God,
That's fine.
But, like, I feel like that's how the universe and vibrations work. And I feel like they try to kind of, like, help you out of things. and you either take it or you just don't, and it's just going to keep repeating until
Yeah.
it
Because
forces...
you, as much as things
So, I mean,
are...
you and that toxic person don't vibrate at the same frequency.
No, and that's
so
why
it's
you're
like,
toxic.
no matter what you do, there's nothing that's going to make you guys work.
I feel like two things. One, you don't like... Wait, you even though things could be like meant for you or pre-planned or whatever the word is, destined, I guess, and what there's angels that look out for you, it's like you still have free will, so they can put everything in front of you to make a different decision. But it's not like you're gonna, like, God's just gonna like float on top of this table and be like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking you out of this relationship. Like, you still have to choose it every single time. That's part of life. That's why we want to come here. We want to learn more lessons.
Isn't it crazy how hard people will work for relationships with other people besides relationships with themselves?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I know so many people that are in relationships just to avoid having to mend a relationship with themselves. But it always happens. So whether you want it to happen now and then you enter into your... Oh, I have something good to say. I saw this lady...
Ooh, say it.
I was talking to a friend, and this friend is in that situation where she's just always in a relationship and always kind of looking for that, and she just doesn't like to be with herself. And it's popped up on my TikTok, and it was like said so perfectly, but this woman was like, if I had to give... Maybe she's like a 50-year-old woman. She's like, if I had to give the young 20-year-olds some piece of advice, it's to stop looking for a man or even talking to a man or anything with a man until your money's right, your career's right, your just mental and everything. And basically she was saying, like, you attract what you are. We know that. That's proven. That's true. It's science. It's energy. And we're all energy. And so she's like, if I am at my, let's say I'm not at my best right now and I'm looking for men, I'm only attracting the men on this level. And they're only distracting me from getting to the next level. So you can't attract your dream man when you're not your dream self. So she's like, you gotta, like, get your fucking dream self together. Then you get your dream man together. But it's weird how, like,
when you're young, you, like, crave this, like...
And it's part of life, though.
But I feel like that ties into, like, even though our next episode is going to be on, like, generational curses and stuff, I feel like that's why people get in these bad relationships, because you have this kind of, like, generational curse that, like, follows you, and you want to seek out some form of, like, love or something that you can feel. Yeah. You just want to feel something.
Yeah.
No matter whether it's healthy or not. And
yeah. I feel like it's true. And love, you experience it in, like, relationships, like partners, but also in friends and family. And unfortunately, I think we get that emotion confused because, and yourself, because, like, maybe if that isn't balanced with a family relationship or yourself, you're, like, looking for it the wrong way in other people, if that makes sense, right? Or you might think the wrong person's the one or whatever. Like, the one Rod Wave line that makes me cry, low-key, because I'm a baby. But it was something about, it was, like, looking for love in all the wrong places. Now, I'm not full of love, I'm full of hate. Or something like that. I didn't say that right. But it actually described my life. Actually, I'm gonna send this to you because I was having a little, when I was having my depression time. But he literally says it word for word in this song. 3 days ago. Oh. He says it word for word in the song, just like his dad went to prison, uncle died, whatever. So I related that to my dad dying. And then he was just like, his mom found a new man, got married, she's happy. But because of that, it made him look for love in all the wrong places. And then now he's full of hate. I was like, that's the story of my life. So I've had to realize that, though, because sometimes when your family life love was off balance or whatever, you're putting that into the wrong people in relationships, or you just don't know. There's so many factors that can go into why you're looking for love in the wrong places. And that's part of navigating life. And as much as toxic relationships suck, I think they're so important for us. And we kind of need them.
Yeah, but I feel like if you can overcome that, you can kind of overcome anything, I think.
Well, that's what I was saying about, like, if you can either choose to face yourself now and then walk into a season of life where you meet your dream man and then you live a happy life. Or you can do that thing where you keep staying with all these whatever men, not look at yourself. That's going to happen eventually. And you might be the person that's 35 with 3 kids and then you divorce, because that's going to happen eventually.
Right.
You know, you have to be your elevated and best self before you exit. At some point,
it's going to, show. Yeah. I don't know, the relationship can't, I feel like it shouldn't last forever. Yeah.
But I would beg to say that relationships are one of the most fundamental parts of this lifetime. Like, teach us the most lessons, most important. You're directly giving energy and sharing it with other people, and you're choosing how you're letting that impact yourself.
Yeah.
They teach you the most lessons. And the people in your life only mirror what you're the chemist of your own life, right? So everyone you're allowing in or that is attracted to you is because that's what you're choosing to let mirror. Now, this is getting so... Some people are going to fall off on what we're saying here. I know, but it's fine. But, like, it's all paving your own story, and you're low-key kind of subconsciously choosing it.
It's kind of crazy.
Are you with me on my?
I am.
This is the first time I'm entering that like new level out of our podcast.
Really?
Where I'm in a different world.
I
Usually,
feel like I always leave in like a different world.
Not.
I feel like this is just a topic that's like so familiar for me that like I've run out of things to even say at this point.
When I don't have the answers.
I've been in therapy for this for like fucking 3 years.
I was about to say your therapist probably.
Jessica.
You've talked.
She's
enough.
like, wow, you don't even have anything to say on your podcast about this. I'm like, blocked it out of my life.
You want me to read it to you?
I don't even know. Yeah.
Fuck that question. How can someone rediscover themselves and rebuild their self-esteem after being in a toxic relationship? Jessica.
I don't know. I feel like rebuilding myself after my toxic relationship was so fucking hard, and it was something that I didn't even think about when we broke up. I didn't realize how much I didn't love myself.
Yeah, let's stop there. I just got chills because I can relate to that. I think 90% of people here can. You're so focused on loving the other person, you never even realized you didn't love yourself, and no wonder they couldn't love you if you couldn't love yourself.
Yeah.
Then you have to deal with that.
Yeah, I think there was like a two-part. There was like a realization that like I didn't love myself, and then there was like a second realization that like, did that motherfucker know that I didn't love myself? And it's just like
He could
he
use
took
that.
advantage of that
Yeah.
and flipped it back on me, and I really thought
And it might not
you
be
know,
like consciously. It could be a subconscious thing too. Like it might not be like him literally being like, "This is what I know,"
like,
you
fuck,
know.
yeah, but
But I also think it's interesting because you know how society perpetuates this idea of like when you break up with someone, you just start glowing up and like all that stuff. Like,
yeah, I feel like I glue down.
but I feel like it's society.
I
makes
feel
it
like
weird.
I literally lost so much weight. My hair was falling out of my scalp. I just
down in every way.
I just feel like it was just so much. And to top it off, when I left my relationship, like 3 or 4 months later, fucking COVID hit. And I was forced to be home, which is like the one thing that like I don't think I needed. But I was like so forced to like sit with my thoughts that it just like. And if there's anybody that has ever gotten out of like a bad relationship like that, and I don't know, you force yourself to stay home or you just were home, like not a fun time, not a good place to be at all.
I think in the long run though, it's probably better.
Yeah, I just wish I would have went to therapy sooner.
Yeah.
Because I feel like things like that, you always can't navigate through yourself. Sometimes you let it go on a little too long, and by the time you come out of it, I feel like it's not, you know what I mean? You need somebody else to help.
Did you ever get to the point, like I remember I was embarrassed, but I knew like my wider scope knew what was happening, but I was still agreeing with this thought where it was like, I know you're not the one for me. I know this is wrong. I'm miserable, but I'd rather sit the rest of my life and be miserable with you than like have to deal with what's next and leave this shit.
Yeah. I feel like that's the reason why I never left, because I was like, what do? You just start all over, like, and like,
You know there's shit that comes out. Like, you know the journey of growing.
I didn't really think about like the whole like transformation of like yourself and like all of that. Like, I didn't realize that, and like honestly, I'm just glad that I did it and just pushed through, and I didn't just go back.
Yeah.
So I feel like
But what's that like advice you give someone who's in that relationship now? And I hate that question because it's like when people ask pregnant people, "What's your advice?" Like everyone has a different journey. I don't know, but like, do you know what I mean? Because think about that mindset of when you're sitting there, like, I'm fucking miserable. I want to do better in life, but I literally
you have
can't get
to
out of
actually
this.
just sit with yourself and be like, is this what I want for the rest of my life? I don't, the
That's your whole
universe.
life.
The universe, by some surprise, at one moment created me and put me here for only X amount of time. Am I gonna let somebody else be the definition of
Who I am.
my experience that I get?
Yeah.
Or am I going to be like, no, this is enough is enough. I know this is going to hurt, but like, you have to follow your gut. I mean, just like you do with life, in general. But like in situations like this, when this is not something you're supposed to be in or not somebody you're supposed to be with. And like, even if it hurts, even if you thought you loved them or you did love them, doesn't mean that, I was just reading that book, The Art of Showing Up.
You finished it?
No, I just got like halfway through it a little bit, and it was just saying that like, I lost my train of thought. I need like a sound.
Do 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 do. I have a sound for you.
I was saying, when somebody's bad for you, and what?
I got a perfect sound for you. Is it helping?
This is not helping me. I've actually now completely lost my train of thought. I can't,
Is it helping?
it's like talking about the worst thing of my life and then Jocelyn playing like fucking
Sexy Red.
Yeah, I don't know what I was saying.
Is it not helping?
No.
I felt it was like a good song, like, get it, Lissa.
No. I feel like I thought you were gonna play like the sound of like a train.
And then I just came out here like, bow, bow.
Yeah, and now I'm like actually have no idea what the fuck we were talking about.
It was getting kind of like sad and heated. I needed a little.
Yeah, I don't know.
She'll report on the artist showing
question.
up one day. We will do an episode on the artist showing up. How about we both read the book and then we make an app and then we shout them out and they sponsor us
What?
on the Art of Showing Up book. We do an app on the Artist Showing Up since they did
I have
copyright our
to
name.
finish reading the whole book.
Yeah, and
but-
then I have to read it after. That's how it works.
But yeah, I don't know what we were even talking about. What we were talking about though.
Did anything like happen to you weird this week?
No, why?
Just wondering. Really, I was just
I mean, something weird happens to me every day, but I mean, I don't know what's weird and what's not.
I was walking into Mom's and then I went into the bathroom after I worked out of the gym and I was also on my period, so I was a little loopy and the door hit me on the way out and I fell on my face in front of everyone in the bathroom. In Mom's. And it was like the first time I ever got to go
I've
in
never
there because I
been
can't
into
afford
Mom's.
Mom's.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is Mom's? But then
Yeah, it was
Mom's
because Selena's
Organics.
dad was paying. That's the only reason I was in that bougie ass
Okay,
grocery
should we
store.
just do a second question? Wait, maybe if I read this question, I'll remember what I was talking
That
about.
question's dead, honestly. Wait, yeah, we didn't even answer the question. So how do you rebuild yourself and your self-esteem after being in a toxic relation? Is your answer to sit with yourself or not what you did?
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's just so hard because, I mean, everybody's just so different. I don't know. I feel like, though, what I could take, at least for my situation, is that you have to, I feel like you have to sit with yourself and, I don't know.
I think writing out.
It's so hard, like, because I feel like it's something, maybe it's a little fresh, and I don't know if I can, like, give honest, I don't know.
I know. Bitch doesn't know. Like,
I just don't fucking know.
stupid ass bitch. Anyway, I think something that helped me, one is seeing bigger picture the way we talk about, like when you had your little spiel about like, is this really what you want for your whole life? Like, let's say you have this one life that at least that you remember.
That's what I was saying.
It's like, it's just like, and you dream about like a dream man, but you're really like, you're clearly not gonna get this with this man. But also writing it out, like if you journal, and like I don't know if you believe in manifestation or whatever it is, but writing out like maybe the qualities of your dream man or what you want for your life. Like when you do that and then you read that and then you look at the situation you're in, it's like, okay, I feel like it just makes it very clear, like, okay, I'm not going back to him because this is what I want. Even if you have to write it every single
But
day.
like also too, whenever you're in a toxic relationship, forever how long it is, I feel like you're never focused on yourself at all during that time. So by the time that you get out of that relationship, you have so much time to like learn about yourself because you have not been focused like
Yeah.
on you. You know what I mean?
It's
You've
kinda
been so
beautiful.
focused on like a
Making something that's not going to
like
work
a
work.
mechanism. Like I can't explain it. Like you've been almost so focused on like making sure everything's going good and like everything's going to plan and that your relationship's going well. And it's like once you get out of it, it's just such a different world.
And maybe you weren't even like, as far as, even though when you did focus on yourself in a relationship, you were kind of focusing on yourself through their lens. Like, what can I do to myself to make that person still.
But it's almost funny that sometimes, and I don't know if anybody else that has been in a toxic relationship has ever experienced this, but like sometimes when you get out of the relationship, I feel like you almost picked up qualities from them,
That you
and
don't
then you
like.
can start looking at certain things through their lens, which doesn't mean that anything they did was okay, but it can at least give you some kind of not confirmation. What would the word? Not comfort. What is it called when you're like
Realization, no.
when you come to terms with like something
Yeah,
with
coming
somebody?
to terms. That's the word we're gonna have to use.
No, closure.
Some closure.
Yeah, I feel like it can give you some form of like closure that like you weren't probably as much of the problem as you thought you were, if not any.
Yeah, it's
You
usually
know?
all on them.
It's usually just because they have a battle within themselves and they just throw that on you.
Right, and that's the other thing too, from a spiritual side, I guess, or a bigger picture side. Like, everyone has to do wrong and do right in life, and relationships, toxic relationships on both parties, whether you were the toxic one or not, is very purposeful. So I also think, like, I'm not saying what the toxic person did was right, but at least in my situation, I don't fully blame them. Like, I don't hold any of that negative energy. It's all good on my terms because I've already done the self-work and was like, I figured out who I was, right? At first I did, but I also think sometimes, like, they're meant to mess up in lifetimes and do that because they have to face the battles within themselves, and it's part of their journey of growth and learning. It feels shitty being on the other end of it, but that was part of what they needed to do.
Oh, I remember what I was referencing in the book. I was saying that not all relationships doesn't mean that you didn't have any benefit from it at all, and that it was like a total waste of your time. You know what I mean? It just means that, you know, you just don't mesh well. And
well, it's the
opposite.
opposite. It's actually not a waste of your time at all. I hate that about this society, actually, when people are like, well, I was with them for 5 years, so is it just a waste of 5 years? Like, it's not, it's all, the only thing you're fucking doing in life is evoluting your soul to the higher and higher and higher, to the better person. So it's like, there's no fucking waste of time. That 5 years did whatever it needed to do to you to get the next step. You weren't going to get to the next step without that.
I mean, all things, I feel like, must come to an end at some point, no matter what it is. So, I don't know, you kind of just have to...
Well, that's the funny thing, too. Like, the way energy is always changing. Everything in this life is technically always changing, but as a society, we've latched onto this idea. Yeah, but we've latched onto this idea of, like, we all love stability and not change. But it's hilarious because...
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, because at a soul level and an energy level, like, change is always good. You always want to be changing to the next thing. Like,
I feel like I'm a person that, like, is constantly, like...
Oh, you are. I mean, you see that even in your business, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people would start and...
I feel like change is necessary because, like, why? I don't know. Staying the same is boring. I mean, like, when you're changing, you're rediscovering new things over and over again. You're going back to old things and reevaluating them, getting a different perspective. Like books, like all the books I have, all the hardcover ones that I buy. Like, I've reread so many of them again and gotten, like, a whole new perception.
Or the thing that doesn't make sense to me is, you know, when people sit in a situation, they're not in their dream situation now and they have a dream, but then you don't like change.
Make any action.
Exactly, and you don't want change. But what people don't realize is if you want to get to the dream, you have to change. Like, things have to change to get there. So why is it that duality of, like,
well, some people just want the comfort of just, like, trying to make what they have
the dream.
What they want, and that's just not it.
It's never gonna work.
You know what I mean?
My
Like,
favorite Taylor Swift quote. It's something like, I never want to change, but I never want to stay the same either. It's like, you know, like, stay true to yourself always, but also keep, like...
Yeah.
I'm glad we've referenced, like, everywhere from Broadway to Taylor Swift today.
That's a quote from her when she was, like, 15, too. So that's, like,
woke.
old
Yeah.
quote.
She probably had people help her write that.
Well, I mean, what's it called? The tattoo I have? Or the tattoo that I got when I was 18.
Can you call it
I was going to say... No.
Why?
I was going to say that I got a Smashing Pumpkins tattoo when I was 18, and it says, "And for a moment I lose myself wrapped up in the pleasures of the world." And I got that in a moment when I was in my toxic relationship, and I feel like the whole purpose behind the quote, for me at least, the way I interpret it, was like, it's like, and for a moment you lose yourself wrapped up in all the things that you think are pleasures, but you don't realize the wider picture that could be, because you're just so caught up in this that, you know what I mean, you're not, like, looking at the grander idea.
And even your dreams in your current moment, while they're not where you are now, I think you don't realize your dreams could be... You actually should have realized this. I'm going to put you on the spot. Your dreams are actually...
I didn't know. I haven't realized it.
No, you have.
Oh.
Like, I know
you said you should have realized this.
No, I said you have.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Because right now you could have certain dreams, and it's different than your current situation. But what you don't realize is that your dreams could actually be 10 times bigger, but in your current situation, you can't even see it. So, for example, let's say when you first got into cosmetology, you probably had this dream of what's happening right now. But now, currently, you have dreams that are way bigger than this, but you would have never even seen that if you weren't where you are right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know Jelly Roll? Mm-hmm. He obviously has an amazing story if you follow him, and I love anyone with, like, I love all the people that are nobodies that become somebodies, because they kind of, like, stand for all of us. All the broken people. Anyway, he said that, like, he thought at certain points of his life, just him selling out a show of 1,000 people, like, he was like, I made it, that was my dream. And now, you know, he's winning Grammys and stuff, and it's just like, I could never even dream that. Like,
I feel like it's human nature to always kind of, like, want more than what you have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But then the side of it, too, is even what you want is so much less than it's out there. Even, like, from a male relationships perspective, if you're in a toxic relationship, you have this idea, here's my dream husband. what could be meant for you could be so fucking amazing if you allow it to be, but you have to allow it to be. And it could be something that you can't even visualize.
And all things that are toxic are relationships. Sometimes, like, let's use me as an example, even though I love my business, I love my salons. I don't vape anymore.
Yeah, it was toxic. That was a toxic relationship she had.
With my vape.
I have a thing against vapes, and if you're a vapist, I don't like you. And also, if you're a vapor, don't ever ask us to sponsor you. Fuck vaping.
Anyway. I don't know what I was saying. I have ADHD.
You, toxic thing that's not a person.
I was just going to say, the business, I feel like it's kind of like toxic for me sometimes because all I do is work and I know that it's an unhealthy thing. So I think anytime you put yourself in a situation that you know is not comfortable for your brain or your body or your soul or, your energy field, then
it's toxic.
It's toxic.
Well, I think toxic happens not just when it's not good, but when you allow that not good to become a repetitive cycle. Now it's something toxic.
Yeah.
Because you can either be like, this isn't good, let me get out of it. But if you can't get out of it, I feel like that's when you would call it the word toxic, right? Because I could have a great relationship, the person cheats on me, and I get the fuck out. It wasn't toxic, he just cheated on me.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like also I, always talk to you about, Jonathan and I's toxic era when we started dating, but no, we were just young. It wasn't that it was a toxic relationship. I feel like people use that word differently.
Well, also the thing I want to make known though is all relationships comes with trials, tribulations, and struggles,
with fighting,
and
I just use the word toxic so lightly, but it wasn't really toxic, or we wouldn't be married.
But that makes discernment hard because you're is this toxic or is this just our struggle period?
Normal? Yeah.
You use your
okay,
normal
but I feel like you no, let's say my old scenario, toxic, scary, not something that is probably going to end well for anybody involved.
Yeah.
And that's when, you know what I mean? I think, if me and Nick were, fighting or, something stupid like that, I don't really see that toxic because...
No, this is just a
fight. He's a normal, you know what I mean? And there's just some things that you know...
It's frustrating.
Yeah, I think toxic is, when it's,
scared.
It's almost poisoning your life. It's poisoning you.
Poisoning your life, that's what it is.
It's poisoning your perception.
But I also just want to be real about you can go through toxic cycles in a healthy relationship though, and that can be normal because it's two completely different people with completely different life experiences, completely different energy, whatever, thought patterns, trying to come together and make something work. You're gonna butt heads, or someone could mess up some. I mean, honestly, to be real, there's a lot of relationships where one person has messed up and it can still be a healthy relationship. So I don't want to be too delusional in the fact, because I think also the world paints this picture a relationship like Romeo and Juliet, and really none of them ever should be that way. A true relationship, you're still going to learn the lessons and evolve, but you're going to do it in that relationship together.
Romeo and Juliet or Bonnie and Clyde?
Who are you choosing?
Anyway,
next one. Just keeping it real around here. You want to pick it or me? Ooh, a skinny one. Should I play Sexy Red?
No.
What?
How to move forward from toxic relationships or situations. I feel like we kind of
I think we could.
this.
Yeah, we just covered that. So should I?
Okay, so.
Or do you want to read that? I guess.
The thick one.
Thick one. Ooh. Okay, should I play Make the
Toxic relationships can make you question your own sanity. How does that manifest emotionally? Oh, I like that question.
I do too, because I think I sometimes look back and I'm like, how did I even think that way?
How did I tolerate?
And then I look at people who are going through it now and I'm like, how do you even fucking think that way? Because once you get to the other side...
Okay, but do you remember being in that and having somebody come up to you and being like, I just don't understand why you don't just leave him or do this or leave that situation. And it's that's because it's almost the equivalent to people telling me, you literally make your own schedule. Just take less people. And I'm like, you're not... What do you mean? That's not possible, actually. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so annoying. I don't know the answer.
I don't know. I feel like... Toxic relationships make you question your own sanity because it makes you realize how much you'll put up with. And
why?
Yeah, I don't know. But that's a good question. I feel like
I know. I need to think on it. Should I play Sexy Red?
ChatGPT it.
See what ChatGPT says? That's hilarious. Okay, and I'll do Google Bard. Let's see if they say different things.
What's Google Bard?
It's the Google's version of Microsoft's ChatGPT. Or actually, it's called Gemini now. Are you writing the whole question word for word? Write it word for word. That's only fair. Toxic relationships can make you question your own sanity, period. How does that manifest emotionally? Question mark. Okay, I'm making you read your answer first. Just read it in there.
I can't. My fucking speakers are broken.
Get it? Mine gave me like a very long answer. What did yours give you?
Okay.
Am I reading first or you?
You read yours first.
Gemini said, toxic relationships, especially those involving gaslighting, can erode your sense of self and reality in a way that leaves you feeling emotionally fragile. Here's how that might manifest. Self-doubt and confusion. You might constantly question your own memories, perceptions, and judgments. True. You start wondering if you're the one overreacting or misinterpreting situations.
Narcissism.
True. Wow, Gemini. Anxiety and fear. The constant uncertainty about your own reality can breed intense anxiety and fear.
Why does it say Gemini?
That's its name.
Oh.
I was saying, like, wow, Gemini, you really know what you're saying. You know, it's our motherfucking assistant. You might become afraid to speak up or express yourself for fear of being contradicted or ridiculed. True. Loss of self-esteem. Toxic partners often chip away at your self-worth through criticism, blame, and negativity. Make you feel inadequate. True. Isolation. They try to control who you see and talk to. And depression and hopelessness. It's important to remember these feelings are a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. Oh! These feelings are a normal reaction to an abnormal situation.
I feel like the one it gave me is very, very good.
Wait. Ending sentence. If you're experiencing these emotions in a relationship, it's a strong sign something's unhealthy is happening.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah.
I feel like this is actually good. The
Mine
answer.
wasn't.
So let's just reiterate. No, I just feel like it kind of put everything you said into a good paragraph.
So it's a summary.
Kind of.
Paraphrasing.
We're going to redo the question again just because I feel like I don't want them to get confused. But it was toxic. How can a toxic relationship make you question your own sanity? How does that manifest emotionally? I feel like this goes so fucking well for anybody that's been in a relationship like this. In a toxic relationship, you may feel constantly invalidated or manipulated, which can lead to confusion and self-doubt. Emotionally, you might experience heightened anxiety, depression, or even start to question your own reality or in judgment. It's common to feel trapped in a cycle of high and lows where moments of affection are followed by intense turmoil, leaving you feeling emotionally drained and unstable. And I feel like even when you leave an emotional relationship like that, you realize that you start doing that without even the person being a part of your life. And that's why it's so hard to remember who you are and why you love yourself. And that's why it's so important to, leave situations like this, because you're not even yourself at this point. They have almost like
exuded their energy,
taken
so
your
much.
Body and like just use you how they want. You don't even know who you are anymore.
Yeah, and you have to rediscover who you are. And the only way to do that, the honest truth, you have to go through the pain and the steps. Like, there's actually no, here's how you do it in the best way. You just have to do it.
And everyone's situation is different. I mean, you just have to go with what you think is right and just.
But while you're doing it, you have to keep your eye on the prize and know that you're going to continue doing it. Like, the number one thing is just knowing, like making
I feel
a
like the whole
you're not
business thing is
back.
like my second layer of like something I'm trying to like learn or whatever. I don't know how I'm fucking doing it right now, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through like a hard part of it, but I feel like now I'm on the second hard part of it where like I'm finally at that point where I'm learning like who I am and like all those things. And
also, can we normalize the mindset like of I'm gonna figure it out? Like this is what I'm in right now, I'm gonna figure it out, because I feel like that makes me feel so empowered versus I think our first thought is to just be like, oh my god, here, like, what the fuck? Like, you see this horrible situation you're in, here's what I'm in, what do I do?
It's I feel like we say, this is what I'm in, we're going to figure it out. It's not like an overnight process either. No. I mean, like, that's the, like, I think the art of just changing, because, like, it's not an overnight thing.
But it's never fully figured out either, right? So we can't always sit in this stage of like, oh my god, what do I do? This is not where I want to be. You have to just be like, this is where I'm at, and I'm going to figure it out. Like, I'm going to fucking figure it out.
The sun's going to go up and the moon, or this, what is it? The sun's going to go down and the moon's going to still come up regardless of how you feel or what you want. Right. Which probably won't happen for what, another 40 years?
I don't know, girl.
But.
Wow. What time is it?
Time for you to get a watch.
One more question, or do we move to
Where's your watch?
Questions? I have it right here. Stupid ass bitch.
Are you gonna go?
Should we read more? Should I pick the fat one or the skinny one? Should I pick both and decide which one's better?
Yeah.
Give it that.
Just
play Sexy Red. Okay. Ooh. This one. Right?
Yeah.
Is there a place for forgiveness in the healing process? Get it sexy.
I think you can forgive yourself.
You don't think you have to forgive the other person? Ooh, maybe we'll have to debate. Fight it out.
I think you can always forgive somebody, but not. I don't know. I kind of want to be like an asshole and just be like, I forgive myself for allowing that fuckery to go on. Mm-hmm. But I don't forgive that person because they're not a part of my life anymore. I don't give a fuck. I mean, it's not, if there's no bad energy or whatever, once you move on from something like that, it's about you. It's all about you. So, you know, if you want to, you know, keep putting your brain in like that bad place, you can, but I think some people are just like, I've forgiven him, I've forgiven the situation, I've forgiven that. But it's like, have you? Or are you just telling yourself you've forgiven? Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't think there's ever...
I think to truly heal for me, I have to forgive the other person, because otherwise, and that doesn't mean forget, and they don't even have to be in my life again, but otherwise I'm just holding on to the negative energy of that. Like, if I'm still, hey, I'm healed, I moved on, whatever, but then, like, I'm still, like, truly, not just, like, oh, I forgive you, but, like, I truly haven't forgiven you, there's still, that energy is still part of my energy field, and it's only affecting me. So the way I like to move, and I'm not going to say I forgive you until I do. It's not going to be next day, oh, I forgive you, but I don't, no. I really get to a point where I truly forgive the person, and then I just let it go. And it's like, and I let them know I forgive you, so I hope that that can help their journey and all. But that's how I move forward freely. Now, what I like, though, is maybe instead of saying, oh, I forgive you to the person, I kind of like your direction. Like, I feel like what I might do moving forward, which I think would have the same outcome energetically, is saying, I forgive the situation, but I don't forgive you.
That's like, I like that's that. How my
I forgive the situation.
Because I'm not going to forgive, no, because if I'm still dealing with effects from that, I'm not forgiving you. You know what I mean? Do you forgive me? Do you know what I mean? The person, you know, I'm not, it's almost, I feel like, better for me personally to just, I think, forgive myself for allowing that to go on, and I forgive, you know, I don't know, actually.
I feel like you have to forgive all the things that still affect you.
I feel like I don't know a lot this episode. This topic is, like, questionable because I feel like it can go for so many different people and reasons. I mean, there's just some things, I mean, for real, that you cannot forgive. Let's think, like, on, like, the ID channel. There was some shit I was watching last night on Cold Case Files where it's like, okay, that person is not going to be forgiven.
I do think, though, like, you have to forgive all the things that still affect you. So if that person's long gone and you've cut them off, whatever, who cares? But, like you said, where I have to forgive myself, I have to forgive whatever, like...
I just feel like I've forgiven this person so many times that, like, I don't even feel like they deserve it at that point. Like, depending on the situation. Like, if it's, like, a family member and I can physically tell that they're trying, you know, X, Y, and Z, okay, like, I can, like, forgive you and move on, but I don't forgive what you've done. As, like, if it's somebody that you've been in, like, a sexual relationship with, I mean, it all just depends, I guess.
Yeah. I think regardless, though, to heal, forgiveness is definitely in that process. I just don't know where the forgiveness is given. Because I think healing means that you were broken before, and if you're broken, there's something that needs to be forgiven for you to be healed. I'm not saying it has to be the other person or
I feel yourself. Like time heals, but...
I think that's a lie.
Smashing Pumpkins lyric. Time heals, but I'm forever broken.
So then time doesn't heal. I don't think time heals anything. I hate when people say that, actually. I hate when people would say that when my dad died. Like, you know, like, in due time heals. No, the fuck it doesn't. It feels the same today as it did 2 years ago. I've just made it more normal in my life. And I feel the same way about, you know, being cheated on or whatever. I don't feel like time healed it. I felt like either I healed it or I've just now accepted that's part of my life and I've moved forward, so. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like that's why it's like I'm forever broken, though. Because it's like... The healing part is that you have been able to move on, but like move your life on with carrying X, Y, and Z. But carrying, you know, yourself wherever you go, you're still feeling that broken feeling. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like...
I mean, I feel like a part of me...
like the longer time that goes on from like an event...
I feel like
I don't know.
You just get more normal. You feel more normal in a broken space, but I don't think you heal. Like, I don't know if you feel this way, but I just feel like no matter the man of my dreams,
in a sense is not even. It's. I mean, I feel like you're never really truly healed. I mean, who has the definition of like when I'm actually healed? I feel like I'm constantly healing.
Yeah. I feel like for me. I could have the dream man, the most success in the world, the most money in the world, the best life, the best kids, whatever it is. I just feel like I'm always going to be a broken soul, though. Like, do you ever feel that way? Like, I'm still going to resonate with the Rod Waves and Jelly Rolls of the world.
Seeing a psychiatrist because...
But for me, I'm like, I don't even know if it's something... I think it's just me. I just think it's who I am. And do you know the other interesting part is... I don't know who the fuck was saying this, but this was super spiritual. But this person... Oh. It was Megan Fox. So, you know, she was on Call Her Daddy or whatever, and she was saying, like, all these mediums and psychics that basically told her, like, this is her last life. Like, she's so... that's why she's so awoke and stuff. And that's also why she's so broken. Because they say the oldest souls are actually the most broken. Like, and that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if that's really what happens, then
because you've gone through so much at that point.
Remember, a psychic told me I was here 18 times, to be exact.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, this is your 18th or 19th?
This is my...
At 18th. Earth? Or... Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I know I've been here before a few times, but not in America, I don't think.
I definitely have been here a few times. I don't know where and why, but... Yeah.
We have a few past life stories we could share in the next episode.
That's the thing, is, like, we actually never really know. Sucks.
But I feel like you don't know, but you know it all. I feel like I discover things and something in my soul tells me, yeah, that's true. And I just get it. But I feel like I just have to rediscover it. I feel like the only time I know it all is when I look inward. I feel like people think I'm high right now. I'm not.
Are you saying that because I am?
No, because I just feel like I'm not acknowledging the fact that there's a lot of people watching that have never opened their eyes up to the way me and you think, and I'm talking to you, but I realize they're watching. And I feel like some people have gotten lost. And the people that aren't very woke are going to be like, oh, she's just high.
Or they're going to think that we're just talking about, like, nonsense.
But then one day they'll wake up and they'll see it, or maybe they won't.
I guess it's just us just really talking about it. I feel like it's something that everyone goes through.
I want to punch the microphone.
What does that call? An intrusive thought.
It's called Rage Samar. Alright, vulnerable question time. There's so much more stories we could have shared here, but maybe in due time. Not today.
I don't even know what to ask. Me and my ASMR. My ASMR with your Rage Samar is just no Samar.
It's the best Samar.
Samar would be a good cat name.
Or a kid name.
I like Samar for cat. Samar! Little Samar. Oh, cute little Samar.
You could call him Sammy. Sammy Cat.
I'll call him Smar.
So
smart. Okay, vulnerable question time.
Tiffany's having a Charlie horse.
No, I'm just getting shooting pains in my knee.
Let's ask Tiffany to do her vulnerable questions.
Yeah, what the fuck would she ask us? This would be interesting. Tiffany asks us each a vulnerable question.
My brain doesn't think like that.
Yeah, so it's like if our brains are just thinking like this, are we the weird ones?
Yeah, we are. Except I've met a lot of people in the past week that think like this. And this one guy told me, he was like, all of us find each other eventually. He was like, it's
all of us.
Yeah, he was like, it's the woke people versus what I call the bots.
It's like we all have like
the bots.
Yeah, he said all the people that haven't waken up are just like bots of the world, and they all look the same. I was like, I know exactly what you mean.
People wake up in different ways. Like, I don't think I'm ever gonna be woke in the way that you're woke,
but this guy was woke like us.
Own way.
And he said we find each other, and I was like attracts like. It's all true, man. I just never heard a man speak like that before, so I was very like, whoa.
I always wonder if some people are just afraid of, like, I don't know, like just actually waking up or feeling things in a way that...
Well, yeah, obviously. Not everyone's meant to the same way in this lifetime either.
Maybe some people just don't want to either.
No, and that's fine.
I think it's, like, important.
But it's the whole old soul versus new soul theory as well, though, which can be a whole other episode. That's why. Not everyone's meant to, and not everyone can. You're all in different levels of consciousness. I'm gonna have to write a book.
You?
Yeah, on this, because I can't possibly say anymore. So what's the vulnerable question? I know you're not. Okay, I'm gonna let Gemini find yours as well. It's like a ChatGPT day. So we're literally talking about the deepest soul things, and then we're talking to robots on our phone.
Oh, this is a good one.
What? Can I re-ask it to you as well?
No. How do you know...
Don't try to throw the phone down and act like you're creating the question.
No, because it asks a question, but, like, it's not really the question I'm asking. but it made me think of a question.
All right, what?
How do you know when you have been the toxic one in a relationship? Have you ever been the toxic one in a relationship?
Yeah.
What?
In many relationships.
Like friendships or more?
Like actual relationships, probably. I just think I didn't care about the person the way they cared about me multiple times, and I was just too worried about just what was going on in my life that I didn't give the person adequate, like, energy and what they needed, and that ended up hurting them. And I knew I was actually being toxic. I knew, like, this isn't going to last, this isn't right.
But you still continue to.
But I was selfish, because at the end of the day, you're making sure yourself is right. And at that point, I felt like that's what I was.
Do you ever wonder if other people heal from your toxicity?
No, because they did worse to me. So
yeah, that's true.
No, but I mean, that's part of their journey. Unfortunately, I wrote my wrongs, and now they have to figure out what they're gonna do with them.
Okay, go.
You know, how do you know when it's time to get a new set of nails? It's time.
When you're over the old. When you're asking that question.
When it's flying off.
When it's flying off your bed. Your hair is getting caught.
What is your biggest fear about the future? Stumped, bitch.
I think, does it have to do with toxic things?
No, it's just a question. It's open-ended.
I think my biggest fear about the future is that I wish that I'm scared that I'm going to find something that I enjoy too late in life, and I wish I would have pursued it when I was younger.
In what way?
I don't know. Like, even if it was, like, I found out that I was great at crocheting. I would wish that I, like, crocheted more blankets.
That's your biggest fear?
Or, like, I wish that I would have, because, like, sometimes I don't know if, like, I know that I'm good at what I do, and I love, like, running a business and a salon. I think that's super dope. But, like I'm scared that there's something that, like...
else you could be doing in your...
That I, like, could have stumbled across if I wasn't doing this, and I would have been like, wow, this is really what I wanted to do.
That's a good one, honestly.
Yeah, that's... I
don't think that's...
I was asked this question before, and I think it was at therapy, and I feel like I got the same reaction where she was like, I've never heard somebody say that that's their fear.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people haven't realized
it's valid, yeah.
Because I just fear being on, like, the deathbed, and I'm, like, watching a commercial of something, and then it hits me where I'm like, oh my god, I should have done that. And I had all that time, and I spent it doing something just because I was good at it. And
so you know what is, though...
expanding onto what I could have been good at.
What is important, though, like, as you were talking about, you're navigating toxicness in owning a business and stuff, and it's the same thing with a relationship. Obviously, when you have a business, you have to put your energy into that, yes. But I think it's really important to always have part of your energy not in that where you're still open to new things. Because it might come a time where maybe 10 years from now, you close this whole thing down and you go do something completely different.
Well, that's why
you're never going to realize that if you are fully here. So I think it's
being
so
in toxic things or relationships or situations is so bad because it just, like...
drains all your energy.
It blurs the line between you even wanting to, find new things and experience.
So let's say this business, though, like, how can you keep it running and successful and you still have passion for it? But how do you make sure you're still keeping your energy open to discover new parts of yourself, new things, and, like, let the world take you where it's going to take you, even if it's not what you think it is? How can you do that? A lot of people are in that. A lot of people might have a 9 to 5.
I just feel like having just, like, the trust. And I feel like I know myself enough that, I don't know, I won't let myself get too far into running this if it's not fulfilling me deep inside.
But sometimes it could be fulfilling you fully, that what you think, but the universe still has another thing for you to do, or you're meant to do another thing.
That's why I'm taking off on Mondays.
Think about someone who's, like, in the typical 9 to 5 job for 40 years of their life, right? Like, they don't love it, though. But, like, but it takes up all your energy because usually they're quite toxic. So it's, like, literally in actions, how can you make sure that you are still open and available energetically?
Stay open-minded.
Yeah. Don't let one thing take
like, I know that this is, like, my business, and I know I have, clients, but I mean, I'm not the only esthetician that's, like, good at this, and I know that. I know I'm not the only one that can do an eyebrow. It's just like anybody that has a 9 to 5, you're either going to start coming and just be like, this is the
life for me,
the life that I'm going to live, or you're going to be like, this is the 9 to 5 that I work, but I'm open to options for X, Y, and Z.
Keep your options open, baby. That's that.
That is it.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.